Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we help you stay genuinely informed without feeling completely overwhelmed. Today, we're diving into Andrew Kagan's latest random technical news you can possibly use newsletter. Our goal, simple. Cut through all that noise and pull out what's really important, maybe surprising and genuinely useful for you.
Yeah, it's a pretty crucial task, actually. The amount of tech news out there, it's just immense. And what Andrew curates, well, it's more than just headlines. These are often signals, pointing to big industry shifts, maybe new opportunities, or even potential problems bubbling up. It's really about seeing the patterns, understanding what it all means.
Exactly. And we've got quite a bit to cover today. We're going from cloud foundations right up to AI, security, even some surprising stuff about Wi-Fi privacy later on.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Okay.
Let's kick things off with Azure. It's basically the bedrock for so much cloud stuff, isn't it? Looking at this week's Azure news, what's the one thing that, really stands out, something people need to know? Okay, yeah, the big one, I think, for anyone deep in Azure is that hard deadline. Cognitive Services and Azure ML retirement. It's September 15th, 2025. And that's not a soft deadline, it's a full stop. So if you're using these, you basically need to be migrating, like right now.
Wow, September 2025.
Yeah.
That really is a quick turnaround for a full retirement. It just shows how fast this cloud landscape changes, doesn't it? You blink, and a service is heading out the door.
Precisely. It's a tight window in cloud migration terms. You need a transition strategy, like yesterday. But then on the flip side, the innovation side, there's a lot of focus on scaling Gen AI in the cloud. Specifically enterprise use cases, driving secure innovation.
Secure innovation, right. That seems key.
It is. It signals we're moving past just playing around with generative AI. It's about embedding it into core business processes, but doing it safely. Security has to be built in, not an afterthought.
That makes sense. That constant drumbeat for secure Gen AI solutions.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Clearly a top priority. Okay, let's pivot now to Microsoft 365. This is where so many of us live work-wise. Documents, collaboration, teams. With AI becoming so pervasive, how's it really changing that space? What's new?
Well, AI is like everywhere in M365 now. Copilot is really the main story. They're introducing Copilot mode right into the Edge browser. That could fundamentally change how you browse, how you research online. AI Assist right there.
Interesting. So baked right into the browser itself.
Exactly. And then Microsoft 365 Copilot Search is now generally available GA. So it's AI-powered search across all your company data. That's now widely accessible. You can ask it questions in natural language. Plus, they keep tweaking the UI for Copilot, making it more intuitive to use.
Right. So it's not just tacked on. It's being woven deeper into the fabric of how you work. And I saw something, Jeremy Chapman and Scott Van Vliet talking about AI revolutionizing project management. That sounds potentially huge for teams.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great example. It shows AI isn't just for writing emails. It's about streamlining complex workflows, maybe even giving predictive insights for projects. But, and this is critical, they're also doubling down on security amidst all this. The update on protect AI workloads from code to runtime with Microsoft Defender for Cloud is super important.
Okay, explain that a bit more. Code to runtime.
Yeah, it means securing the entire lifecycle, from the moment you write the code for your AI application all the way through to when it's actually running. As these AI tools get more powerful, making sure they're secure end-to-end is just not negotiable.
That's good to hear. That proactive security stance feels necessary given the power involved. It's about responsibility, too. All right, from core productivity, let's talk about building custom solutions, automation, Power Platform, and Dynamics 365. AI seems to be the big story here, too, empowering users in new ways. What's catching your eye?
Definitely. For Power Platform developers, they're focusing on making things smoother and smarter. There's this introducing plan validation in Copilot Studio Kit. Essentially, it helps you make sure the AI plans you design in Copilot Studio are actually solid, error-free before you deploy them, should speed things up reliably.
Okay, better validation. That makes sense for building dependable AI.
Yeah. And also, the Visualize with Copilot feature, now you can actually save the charts it generates. That's a pretty big deal for data analysis and sharing. You get an insight, boom, save the chart, share it. Makes it more concrete.
Being able to save those Copilot-generated charts, that does sound genuinely useful for sharing insights quickly. But does that raise any governance issues, people just saving and sharing AI visuals easily?
That's a really sharp question. And it leads right into this concept of agentic governance. It came up in the PowerSat AI webinars. PowerSat AI is just Microsoft's customer advisory team for Power Platform, by the way. But agentic governance, it's about managing these increasingly autonomous AI agents responsibly. As AI starts doing more on its own, interacting with data, you need rules, boundaries, ethical guidelines. It's about keeping control and accountability, precisely tackling those governance concerns you mentioned.
Got it. So more power and efficiency, but also, crucially, more thought going into control and responsible AI within these platforms. Okay, let's shift gears. DevOps, SRE, infrastructure, the real engine room of modern software. I saw a headline here that, well, it definitely made me look twice. The death of Agile. What's that all about? Sounds dramatic.
Hey, yeah, that title does grab you, doesn't it? The death of Agile. Why tech giants are abandoning Scrum.
Look, it's probably not the literal death of Agile principles, but the article suggests a sort of evolution, maybe even a bit of disillusionment with rigid Scrum frameworks, especially in big tech companies. Okay, so less prescription, more adaptation.
Kind of. It's saying maybe some tech giants are finding that traditional Scrum at scale isn't always the perfect fit anymore. They might be moving towards more adaptive, maybe less ceremony-heavy approaches. It's really a prompt to think about what Agile actually means in practice today, that it's not a static thing.
Yeah, I can see that resonating. Those endless stand-ups. Anyway, beyond process debates, what else is happening in DevOps and infrastructure?
Well, there's the ongoing shift from manual testing to AI-generated automation. That's not just about speed. It's about better reliability, broader test coverage. Then there are practical things like tips on how to streamline GitHub API calls and Azure pipelines, just making CI/CD smoother. But maybe the most forward-looking thing is this question. Can you build agent-to-agent communication on MCP? Yes.
Agent-to-agent communication on MCP. Okay, that sounds potentially groundbreaking. What does that mean practically, like for building AI systems?
Right. So A2A, agent-to-agent protocol, it's basically a way for different AI agents to talk to each other, cooperate, even if they were built by different teams on different platforms. And MCP, Model Context Protocol, helps AI models access external data and tools consistently. The yes means this interoperability, it's actually becoming possible, which is huge.
Why is it huge? What does that unlock?
It unlocks the potential for much more complex, collaborative AI systems. Instead of just one AI doing one thing, imagine a network of specialized AIs working together on a bigger task, sharing info, coordinating actions. It's a move from single AI tools to, entire AI ecosystems.
Wow. So we're moving beyond just optimizing current ways of working towards systems where AI components themselves are communicating and collaborating. That's a fundamental shift. All right, let's zoom in on data analytics and AI itself. This is where so much energy is focused right now. What are the truly groundbreaking developments this week? What's the one thing that really changes the game?
Oh, this space is just moving incredibly fast. There's a regular Fabric update, July 2025, showing Microsoft keeps enhancing its unified data platform, Fabric. But the really jaw-dropping one, a new AI architecture that delivers 100x faster reasoning than LLMs with just 1,000 training examples.
Whoa, hold on. 100 times faster reasoning than large language models.
Yeah.
With only 1,000 examples.
Exactly. LLMs, like the ones behind ChatGPT, need vast amounts of data. This new architecture, if it holds up, it's potentially revolutionary. Think about the implications. Drastically lower compute costs, much faster AI development, maybe making powerful AI accessible even without massive data sets.
That is a potential game changer. So efficiency is the big story there.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, building on that idea of AI working together, there's talk of a new era of multi-agent orchestration. Specifically, Fabric Data Agents plus Microsoft Copilot Studio preview. This lets different AI agents, Fabric agents, and Copilot agents actually collaborate on tasks, orchestrate workflows. And tying it all together, there's the ultimate guide to agentic AI frameworks in 2025. It highlights that as AI gets more complex, we need structured ways, frameworks to build and manage these systems.
So the trend seems to be towards more efficient, more collaborative, and more structured AI development, making it smarter, faster, and maybe more manageable. Okay, let's switch to something absolutely critical: security, compliance, and privacy. The threat landscape never sleeps. What are we seeing on the defensive side? What new insights should we be aware of?
Yeah, it's definitely a constant battle. On the defense side, we're seeing practical improvements, things like a new data lake in Microsoft Sentinel, which means better security analytics. You can pull in more data, analyze it better for threats. Also, agentless code scanning in Defender for Cloud. This lets you find vulnerabilities in your code without needing to install scanning agents everywhere. More proactive, less overhead.
Agentless is always nice. What about specific attack types?
Well, there's a deep dive into DDoS attack analytics and metrics, distributed denial of service attacks, right? Understanding the patterns helps mitigate them. And then there's this persistent threat, Kerberoasting.
Kerber roasting.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard that term. Remind us what it is and why it's still a problem.
Sure. It targets the Kerberos authentication protocol, super common in Windows Active Directory. Basically, attackers try to steal service account credentials. If they succeed, they can often get broad access across a network by passing other defenses. It's sneaky, so there's important advice on how to harden your Active Directory against Kerberoasting and new detection techniques mentioned. Really vital stuff for identity security.
Got it. So hardening identity systems is key there.
Absolutely. And there's also mention of an open source tool, AutoSwagger, which helps find hidden security flaws in APIs. Good for developers. And finally, a summary of the 5 most dangerous new attack techniques and what to do for each. Always good to know what the latest threats look like.
It really drives home that cybersecurity is just this ongoing arms race. Constant vigilance, constantly updating your strategies. Okay, let's shift focus a bit towards personal growth, learning and certifications. In this fast-moving tech world, how can people keep up? What resources are highlighted?
Microsoft's making it pretty clear where they see things going with their vision for AI skilling. They're emphasizing the huge demand for AI skills, so expect more resources and pathways there. For fundamentals, there are good resources flagged for learning JavaScript and TypeScript, including a crash course. Great for beginners or those broadening their skills.
Foundational web skills, always important. What about making AI less daunting for newcomers?
Yeah, exactly. For that, there are 5 fun generative AI projects for absolute beginners. Gets you hands-on without needing a PhD in machine learning, makes it approachable. And for the infrastructure side, learning Docker and containers in Azure made simple. Docker and containers are pretty crucial for modern cloud deployment. Plus, for anyone prepping for coding interviews, there's guidance on data structure and algorithm patterns for leak code interviews. Very practical advice for tackling those interview challenges.
So it looks like there are accessible paths, whether you're just starting out with code, diving into AI, or prepping for that next career step. Good resources highlighted. All right, let's wrap up the detailed sections by looking at the broader industry news and trends. Taking that step back, what caught your eye this week? Anything particularly surprising or thought-provoking?
A few interesting things. First, this GRIT framework for leadership. It stands for growth plus recognition plus inspiration multiplied by trust. It's kind of a fresh take on leadership, focusing on more human elements, which seems relevant today.
GRT framework. Growth, recognition, inspiration, times trust. Interesting. What else?
Then there's this headline that's, well, frankly, a bit creepy. Your body can be fingerprinted and tracked using Wi-Fi signals.
Yeah.
Apparently, the unique way your body interferes with Wi-Fi can act like a fingerprint. The privacy implications there are significant.
Wait, what? Tracked using Wi-Fi signals based on your body? That is unsettling. Wow. And I also saw something about SharePoint, an urgent warning.
Yeah, an urgent warning and fix about Windows SharePoint hacked worldwide. It's a stark reminder that even widely used enterprise platforms have vulnerabilities, and patching quickly is absolutely critical. But then, shifting to the far future, some exciting quantum computing news.
Oh, what's happening in quantum?
Riverlane is integrating advanced quantum error correction QEC with an Oxford quantum circuits machine. That's a big step towards making quantum computers more reliable, less error-prone, and other researchers are finding that tiny gold clusters show promise for building quantum components. New material science pushing the boundaries.
Man, it's just incredible, the range here. New leadership ideas, unsettling privacy implications of Wi-Fi, major security alerts, and then the absolute cutting edge of physics with quantum computing. What a dynamic field. Wow. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground just now, pulled out those key nuggets from Andrew Kagan's newsletter, from critical Azure retirements and that potentially revolutionary AI architecture to new security threats like Kerberoasting and even glimpses into quantum's future. The pace is just relentless.
It really is. And if you connect the dots, it just highlights how vital continuous learning and critical thinking are. In a landscape moving this fast, understanding these updates isn't just about knowing facts. It's about seeing what's coming, finding the opportunities, navigating the challenges. It's about shaping the future, not just reacting.
Absolutely. And maybe here's a final thought for you to chew on, connecting some of those dots. How might these seemingly separate things like AI agents learning to talk to each other and the slightly scary idea that Wi-Fi could fingerprint your body, how might they converge? What kinds of unprecedented opportunities, but also entirely new security and privacy challenges might emerge when these different threads start weaving together in the near future? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring.